How to get ahead of 99% of people in different sports and business. How many of those YouTube videos haven't you clicked on? Well, this video is different because I'm not talking about doing it in one sport, I'm talking about doing it in different sports and build a business at the same time. So what kind of a crazy guys is this? Well, here is last year's medals from national as well as Nordic championships in calisthenics. Whoops. While I was building my virtual reality startup, so we're building a cyberpunk VR game for this deceptive reality with about 20,000 people already playing it. So that's the business side. So we want to break down today's video in three parts. Number one is goal setting, and number two is training, and then number three is how to combine that training with your work. And because it's a little bit might sound crazy that you should be able to do these things together. So number one is goal setting, and when you think about setting a goal, people always tell you that you should be realistic, right? Well, I agree, but then I disagree. So first off, to get me excited, I always want to set like a crazy vision, something that truly I want to work towards. So for instance, that was for me breaking a world record or a national record in muscle ups. And then the other idea was that at the same time I wanted to build this international cyberpunk VR game, Deceptive Reality. And then when I had this vision, it was time to break it down in steps. So of course, what's the year's goal? That was the record and to get a MVP out of the product. And then you had like the monthly goals and then weekly goals. That breaks in then to the daily goals. So for instance, to break the national record, I've done about 9,463 muscle ups for the last 5 years. So that sounds like a lot, right? But actually on a weekly basis, that's around like 41 muscle ups. So that's actually not that much, because then if you think about doing it, training like 2 or 3 times per week, it's like 10 to 20 muscle ups per training session. So it isn't that bad. Then when you have like those like long-term vision and the short-term goals which you want to hit right, then it's time to get started right. So I'm not saying that you would be able to outperform anybody in all domains. So then it's of course for you also to pick which domains do you want to focus on. For me, that was to train calisthenics and to build a startup, but also at the same time it was to do skateboarding as well as jiu-jitsu. So when we think about these different domains, I can't be like best at everything in these domains. And of course you could only pick like one sport and your business, but to me that's a little bit boring. So I wanted to be outperforming in these different sports and build a business at the same time. So here is where the 80-20 rule, which I always talk about, is you focus on the 20% that gives 80% of the results. So for instance, in calisthenics, I can't do any tricks, but I can do a lot of muscle ups, right? And then in skateboarding, like I can't skate ramps for instance, but I can do a lot of hard flips and also a lot of like switch tricks, which is skating the wrong way. And then in jiu-jitsu, I always focus on this like one guillotine choke. So I really focus on, for almost a decade, I've been focusing on perfecting it. And then in the business, I can't like program anything, but I can be the guy that sets up the vision and also like builds, the culture and the team and also project management. So that's kind of like the goal setting. Then when you think about doing exercise, so if you want to be able to outperform people, you can't just be like, all right, so I just want to jump into a specific sport and then, not have good foundations that you build on. So to me, it builds a kind of around this core of being able to have strength, balance, and endurance. So strength, you build through training at least 2 times per week, strength. And when you do that, you want to focus on doing pushing, pulling, training the legs and the core. And you want to do about 10 sets per muscle group per week. And then you want to go reps close to failure, but because this is the way you get stronger, right? Then you also want to make sure that you have good balance. For instance, for me, if I wouldn't have a great balance, then I couldn't be doing skateboarding. So when I train at the gym, I always do, for instance, pistol squats, etc., because this really makes me constantly work on my balance and so on. Then when I think about like my conditioning, I look at one parameter, and that is called the VO2 max, which is basically your maximum oxygen intake. So I do once per week cardio, and for cardio I go like on a run at 80% of max heart rate, and then at the end of it I do like sprints. And for me also another way of building cardio is to do daily walking, and that's kind of like I do 10,000 steps per day. So I don't know, it's almost like I'm doing my marathons on walking here in Helsinki. But anyways, then we have like exercise part covered, right? No we don't, because then it's also equally important as you do exercise, train the muscle, you gotta train the mind, right? Come on guys, you know, it's not just pumping iron like Arnold, you know. Even though I've done the first program I actually way back in 2009 was Arnold's Golden 6, which was a phenomenal workout program, because back then I used a lot of weights, right? Get to the gym. No, but for the mind it's kind of simple. For me it's like 8 deep breaths per day. I do a little bit of very, very basic yoga. It's a super simple routine, but the idea here is to calm down the nervous system and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. You can also comment here if you want to see my full routine on that. I think it's super important, even though I keep it super simple. So finally we have then the business side. So here I like to focus on dividing my day in 3 parts. We have the morning, we have the time before the noon, and then we have the afternoon. So of course then early in the morning I get up, I do my workout routine, and then it's time for work. And this part is the most important part of the day, in my opinion, because here is where I focus on 4 hours of deep work. So that means basically putting the phone away, no meetings, and really focusing on the most high leverage moving tasks. Because if you do that, you should be asking yourself, what is one task that if I do it now will make my whole day feel perfect, or that I've done something that will actually move me towards my 10-year goal that I want to accomplish in 6 months. So that's a very good rule of thumb here. And then of course later in the day I do easier tasks before I get ready for training. And actually my training program at the moment is to, in 60 days, lose 8 pounds of weight, or roughly speaking 4 kilos, and to break a national muscle up record, because some of my friends are saying that everybody in Finland is who trains calisthenics trying to break my record, and I'm gonna be the guy. I want to beat myself at my own record, right? No, but anyways, finally then for doing all of these tasks, it sometimes can be, you know, or somebody would tell me that, dude, that's too crazy, like you can't be focusing all of those tasks at the same time. But really, I think it's very simple. You have a simple routine, and then one thing, of course, that changed everything is AI last year. So be ruthless in using your AI, ChatGPT, or there's now coming Claude and all of these other different AI tools that you can use. Be ruthless in using them, because if you don't use, your peer will use it, and he will be the top 1% and you will be part of the 99%, right? So no, but it's an excellent tool. I've seen myself that it increases my productivity about 2.5 times. So yeah, super accurate math there, right? Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, comment if you want to get my book, It's a 50-pager on high performance, my story, how I've come this far, and of course I'm not finished yet on my journey. No pun intended, me being finished, right? But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and also check in the comments to join the community of high performers who want to do less to achieve more. See you in the next video.